Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode two of Dark Places, where we tell our stories around suicide with your host, me, Tinotenda Gwitima. And today I have a very special guest with me today, who's going to share a bit about himself as well and his experience around suicide. So, without taking too much of your time, I'll let him introduce himself and go right into it.
Thanks, Tino. Hi, everybody. My name is Dion Markides. I am 28. I'm a software consultant by trade, and yeah, just this is my story. And Tino's doing a fantastic job with this series. So to kick off with my story, let's go back a couple of years. So about 5 or 6 years ago, that was my first my first and only attempt at suicide. It was obviously a dark time. Everybody says it's a dark time, and things like that. So the dark time for me was the typical, got involved with the wrong bunch of people and started a downward spiral. It was a lot of body shaming. I was quite skinny. A lot of late night out, early mornings back home, drinking, partying it up, all those kind of things. And it was not a very fulfilled life. I was in between jobs and different things like that. So it slowly downward spiral. And then luckily a very close friend of mine started to notice things in my life were changing and pulled me aside and was kind of dragged it out of me, which is what I needed at the time. The day before that, there was my attempt at suicide. I won't go into too many details of it. Obviously, it can trigger some people. So the day after, they didn't know I had tried or attempted or anything like that. And that was the real turning point in my life when I realized that even though through all the bad times and I had fights with my family and friends and everything like that, they'll always be there. There's always someone there that cares about you and someone who is, ready to help you. And that was about 6 years ago, like I'd said. And that's the kind of the turning point out of my anxiety. I'd been suffering from anxiety and depression for about 10, 15 years before that. And just that little attempt at someone trying to show you some love and a little bit of counseling and things like that really led me out of my dark place and my dark space and things like that. And yeah, that was the only attempt that I've had. Like I said, I won't go into too much detail of it. And then since then, it's been a lot of counseling and things like that. So yeah, that's the long and short of my suicide story.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing this part of your life, and it takes a lot of bravery to step out, especially us as guys. They say guys don't talk about this. And already on this show, what we're doing is we're talking not only about suicide and our attempts and all that and surviving that bit, but we also bring in the aspect where we're dealing with anxiety, and in the different ways we are trying to cope with some of these things. And I've been realizing from the feedback I've been getting from a lot of people, you realize that there is a link to these different mental health conditions that we have, and eventually getting to that place, to that dark place that we're talking about. And I'm so glad you had that friend that would at least to pull you to the side and talk about it, on that, if we were to zoom in on that aspect as well, how important do you feel that element is of having a friend there that is going to pull you out of that particular space?
It is it's the only special ingredient. It's the most important thing. Because the whole reason I'd gotten into my bad space is because of the group of friends I was with. And they were like, drink it off type of thing. And it was not they weren't real friends. It's not someone I would call in the middle of the night if I needed help. They were the kind of people I'd call up for a good time to forget about something. And having your circle, your close circle is the most important thing. Whether it's 1, 2, 3 people, it doesn't matter, as long as those are the people that you can call on, knowing that they will drop whatever they're doing and come for you. Obviously, life gets in the way. I'm not saying that they're going to leave their work because you're having a bit of a meltdown, but it's the kind of people you can phone and be like, listen here, I'm not having a great day. Can we meet up after work? And they'll do everything they possibly can to be there. Because you can have 10, 15 good friends who will be like, oh no, sorry, I can't make it today. Oh no, sorry, it's the people who really care about you will make the time.
Yeah.
And they will be there, whether it's 12 o'clock at night or the first thing in the morning. There's always, you have to find your tribe that's going to come and look after you. And definitely it's the most important thing.
That's so true. That's so true. Because I've noticed as well on my end, there's calls from my sister or my brother, my siblings, so apart from just friends, but family as well also plays quite a major important role in that. But I've also seen though that the environment as well is so vital, because the more we try to bring out this information and get people talking some of these difficult topics, the more I find that the environment we're in is sort of it sort of makes it difficult for us to have these sort of conversations.
Yeah.
I want to tap into that on your end. Where do you source the bravery to be able to then speak about some of these things? Is it from your own experience that you want people to learn more?
Yeah, so it took years to build up the courage. Like you say, it's a big stigma around it being a guy, and especially in Zim and things like that. I know on your side of things and a lot of my friends, there's also the traditional aspect of things where the man must have no emotion and mustn't feel weak and things like that. It did take a lot of struggle and heartache and things like that. But my advice would be is do it slowly. Tell one person who you really, really trust, whether it's an aunt or a friend at work or whatever it is, someone who you know is not going to run off and tell the world of your story. Because as soon as you find your confidant, it's someone that you can keep going to on the same issue, who already knows what's happening. But to get to that step is there's no magic wand that you can wave. It's something that you have to do when you are ready. And it took me before my friend was prodding me about 5 or 6 years to actually come to terms with what I was going through. And it's never comfortable. It'll never be comfortable, no matter how many times you talk about it. The only difference is that you learn to have the strength to deal with it. In terms of I still find today, even now when I'm talking about it, it's like a sense of relief.
Yeah.
That I'm talking about it, because you expose what you've gone through. And not only that, also now with me telling my story and you telling everyone else's stories, it's showing people that you can get out of this. There are people who care about you. There are ways to do this. And as humans, we have incredible inner strength, and it's very possible to get out of it. It's not easy. There's still bad days. There's still good days, but it's the good days will start to outweigh the bad days. And it's definitely not an easy thing, but you can do it.
Absolutely. And was so glad you're around today to be able to share
Me too.
with us as well, and I always get really nervous around these conversations, funny enough, but I still pull myself to actually do it. And I love speaking to you and to others who've gone through some of these experiences, because it gives me that extra courage and strength. And like you said, feel there's a weight that has been lifted off, and being able to have these spaces is quite a major step, I think. And I'm glad that today you've decided to join us and actually share your story as well. And we really, really appreciate it. And for those out there who are watching, please, myself and Dion as well are very keen on sharing our stories and talking to you as well. So when you comment and speak to us, I will be sending out our information as well. You can always get in touch, and then we can continue some of these discussions, especially the guys out there. I know you do struggle with a lot that you feel you can't talk about. But look, the more we are able to speak about these things, the more we are able to deal with them and actually help others out there who are struggling as well. So Dion, I'd like to thank you so much for being courageous and for sharing your story with us today. And I really will get to a lot of people, and a lot of people will be able to begin to share their stories as well. So we've come to the end of our show tonight, and I'm really appreciative of this and encouraged by you sharing your story today. Thank you so much for this, Dee. And thank you so much to everyone out there that is tuning in today. We hope to see you in the next episode of Dark Places, Our Stories on Suicide.